It's time to cook with Susan Beck. Today we're going to be making honey granola. This is a great way to make granola at home by just baking these ingredients in your oven. Let's take a look at the ingredients we have today. For our granola today, we will have what we're going to call wet ingredients of a 1/3 cup butter, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and a 1/3 cup honey. Then for our dry ingredients, we have a 1/4 cup brown sugar, a 1/3 cup of almonds, sunflower seeds, and coconut. 3 cups of oatmeal will be the main ingredient. Today I'm going to toast my coconut, but that would be completely optional. Much simpler recipe without doing that. You could substitute other things in here like raisins or a different type of nut, some craisins, whatever you like in your granola. As I mentioned, we're going to toast the coconut today. So I'm going to start by putting some parchment paper on my jelly roll pan. We will toast the coconut in the oven on this parchment, and then we'll add our other ingredients. This will make for easy cleanup so that the butter and the brown sugar aren't stuck to this pan at the end. Now, toasting coconut can be done on the top of the stove, just in a skillet as well, and that's, probably the easiest method if you just want to do a little toasting of coconut, or nuts are great. I was just toasting some pecans the other day to go on some French toast. I want this to get just slightly brown after it's been toasted. It just gives it a totally different taste that I really like. It just kind of brings out some of the, I don't know if it's, in the nuts it's the oils. I'm not sure. In the coconut, I suppose it's the same thing. So my oven has been already preheated at 350 degrees, and I'm going to put it in there and keep a very good eye on it. I've seen things as long as 8 minutes for 2 cups, but I don't have very much coconut here, so I'm going to say this is going to take less than 5 minutes. I've already tossed this once with my spatula, and as you can see, that is no longer white coconut, but golden brown toasted coconut. Well, the toasted coconut is sitting here on the jelly roll pan, and it can just stay there. There's no need for it to be removed because we're going to put our dry ingredients on here next. But, I just can't resist tasting that. It's well worth taking a few minutes to toast it, especially since you're going to run your oven anyway. Now, I toasted that at 350 degrees. 325 degrees would have been just fine. I've now turned my dial down, though, to 325 degrees for the remainder of my granola ingredients that will also bake in the oven. So I have 3 cups of oatmeal, as I mentioned. That's the main ingredient in this granola. A 1/3 cup of sunflower seeds, a 1/3 cup of slivered almonds, and a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. There we go. All right, and we're just going to mix all of that together so that it's well incorporated, although it won't really make a whole lot of difference because this will not be, it's not like I'm making granola bars, I am making crumbly granola. Then we are going to add to that, right on this tray, our wet ingredients. So we've got our honey. I'm going to wipe the edge of that. My adjustable measuring cup pops it right out nicely. I am going to have 1 teaspoon of vanilla and a 1/3 cup butter. Drizzle all that on here. And now it's time to mix it all together. And again, I'm starting out with this spatula here that I had out, but I just find that the easiest way to do this is to get your hands right into it. Yeah, it's sticky, but it washes right off. Sugary things do with a little warm water. So I want to be sure that all of that oatmeal becomes a little bit sticky. I don't want any of it kind of loose. And I probably could have used a little bit bigger piece of parchment paper and had a little less trouble with my oatmeal sliding underneath it. But we'll manage. That's me, always wishing later I'd done something a little bit differently. All right, that oatmeal is all just slightly damp, except maybe this little bit here that slid off my parchment paper. Okay, the next thing I want to be sure is that I have spread it out well and that it is laying in a single layer so that it all bakes better. Our granola is going to go into the oven for 20 minutes. 10 minutes of cooking time has gone by, and I like to just give it a little flip so that both sides brown and toast a bit here. So I'm just going to carefully flip it over. It's not the end of the world if you don't flip all of it over. And again, I want to get it back into one layer. All right, back into the oven for another 10 minutes. We'll keep an eye on it and check it. Well, the granola is out of the oven and I have it here cooling. I took it off of my hot pan to help it cool a little bit faster. And it is now a very golden color. Everything has toasted up nicely here. One of my favorite ways to eat this granola is on top of a little bit of yogurt. Drizzle a little on top there. I don't know, I always like a little crunch with my yogurt. And the nuts just give it that nice crunch that I like. And then you get that little bit of sweetness from the brown sugar and the honey. Just a tasty way to eat the yogurt. So, storage, next thing we should talk about. So this makes quite a bit. I probably have at least 4 cups, probably more closer to 5 cups. One way would be to put it into a Tupperware container and store it in your freezer. Another way would be to just use a Ziploc bag. So that's what I'm going to do today. I've got it labeled honey granola and today's date, so I know when I put it in there. This will last. You can store this in there probably for a year if you want to. So you just simply put it into your bag and store it when it is completely cool. You can leave it on your counter or store it with your cereals as well, but it won't stay fresh quite as long as in the freezer. So I hope you enjoyed this nice simple recipe for how to make homemade honey granola.